So my topic for today is all about views on language. So there are 4 views on language: structuralist, transformationalist, functionalist, and interactionalist. But for today's lesson, we are just going to discuss and elucidate transformationalist. Okay, so let's get going. Let us define now what is transformationalist. So as you can see here, transformationalist believes that language is a system of knowledge made and manifest in linguistic forms, but innate and universal. So take a look with the word a system of knowledge made manifest in linguistic forms. So when we talk about linguistic forms, it is also called speech form. And when we talk about speech form, it is a linguistic constituent structure. And when we talk about linguistic constituent structure, we are dealing about some parts of grammar. The phonology, phonetics, or phonology, morphology, and syntax. When we talk about phonology, of course, we are dealing about it is a smallest unit of sounds. Example, r, b, p, s, t. Those are some examples of phonology. Now, when we talk about morphology, it is a study of word, and it consists of morphemes. And when we talk about morphemes, it is a smallest unit of morphology, comprises of affixes. And when we talk affixes, there are 2 types of affixes, namely prefix and suffix. And when we talk about prefix, those are affix that is attached into the beginning of the word. For example, review. Okay, as you can see in the word review, from its infinitive form, view, the affix there is review. So as you can see, the affix is attached into the beginning of the word. So therefore, you can call it a prefix. And when we talk about suffix, those are affixes that is attached into the ending or to the end of the word. For example, the infinitive form of the word produce. When we talk about suffix, we can add in the end ing, producing. So that is an affix. Okay? So when we talk about syntax, syntax is all about the proper arrangement of words in a sentences. So that's how transformationalist is. No, it is manifested in linguistic forms, because as we further elucidate this one, it is innate and universal. Okay, so let's get going. Let's have now the next one. Language is a mental phenomenon. It is not mechanical. Okay, now, when we talk about language is mental phenomenon, it is not mechanical, because when we talk about transformationalist, it is in line with transformation in terms of language, not in certain forms of mechanical. Not to the extent that from a car it became a robot that has arms and legs. No, that is not transformationalist is. When we talk about transformationalists, it is a mental phenomenon. It happens in our cognitive mechanism, because we only deals with language itself. Okay, so let's get going. Another meaning is that language is innate. So this is what I said a while. The presence of language acquisition device, or ALD, disposes all normal children to acquire language in a short period of time. Okay? Meaning to say that children has the ability to acquire language in a certain short period of time. And according to Noam Chomsky, believe that children are born with all of the structures necessary to create language, and that they instinctively know how to use them. So that is according to Noam Chomsky. Each child has the ability to acquire further language and structures because the category for language already exists within their brains. The same basic language structure in the children carries over if an adult seeks to acquire language. Language structure can get reset and evolve. That is according to Noam Chomsky. And in contrast with the theory of Jean Piaget, believe that all children are born with a basic structure for language and cognition. And as children develop, they are able to learn more complex language and concept. In Piaget's theory, children construct verbal and non-verbal meaning from their environment and culture. And those meanings change as children develop and mature. Piaget defined that ages and stages for learning, and believe that all children pass through each stage, although they may not all reach each stages. In contrast with Vygotsky, Piaget believes that children are most important part of their learnings and did not take place nearly as great in emphasis on culture. So meaning to say, language is innate. When we talk about innate, it is natural to us. From birth, of course, we already exist. There is the existence of language in our mind. Because as we can talk to the child, the young children, from the start, they are just telling mama, papa, daddy, mommy, and as they gradually develop, they are also developing their language. They are now able to learn more complex language. They are now able to express themselves, express their feelings. Mom, I want water. Okay, so that is the development from mom, I want water, something like that. So, because of our intuitive mechanism, we are very intuitive, and children are very intuitive because being a children, that part of development is we are very intuitive. So therefore, transformationalist is innate because it happens naturally to us cognitively in terms of language. Okay, so next one, language is universal in a sense that all normal children, the world over, acquire a mother tongue, and in a highly abstract level, it shares similar key features in all human languages. So meaning to say, of course, when we talk about language is universal, yes, language is universal. Because if you do communication, you use what? Language. Even though you are a person with disabilities. By the means of what? Yes, gestures. You do communication, and with that, language is universal. Because you use something for you to express yourself. You use language for you to express yourself. Therefore, all people living in this world do communication. So, therefore, language is universal. Regardless of what you speak, what dialect you are speaking. It can be verbal or non-verbal with the use of your voice or with the use of your gestures. So that's it. Transformationalist, the key of transformationalist from the word itself, transformation. Okay, another one is language is creative. Yes, language is very creative. As I said a while, from the prefixes, no, from the affix, from the phonologies, syntax, language is very creative. Why? From its infinitive form, if we add something, add something words into its infinitive form, we can now have another meaning to that word. For example, in morphology, in morphemes, cat to cats, as you can see, it's just a one letter S was been added to cat, cats. It's very creative that when you add something, you are pertaining into, from cat to cats, cats pertains to plural, two or more cats. Okay? When you say cat, just one, you are pertaining to a singular noun. So, language is very creative. And as we develop, of course, we also develop our language. And we learn more complex language as we gradually develop, as I said a while. Okay? So, transformationalist, from the root word itself, transformation, we are going to develop, understand certain languages that we doesn't know before. So that's it. Transformation. There you go with the transformation. You do transformation in terms of language. Because language is universal, language is innate, and language is what? Creative. From its linguistic constituent structure. Okay? Do you get what is transformationalist mean? This is just a views on language. The transformationalist. It doesn't mean that you are going to transform, no, into another entity physically, but you are going to transform languages from what do you call this? From the words you doesn't know before, and now you know. For example, when I said to a children, ranging, ranging 6 to 7, I have butterflies in my stomach. So, do you think that children can get your point? Yes, he can or she can get your point literally, that you have butterfly in your stomach. But you are, metaphorically speaking, that is metaphoric names for hoity-toity. In vernacular language, we can call it kinikilig. That's what it pertains. So, when you converse with a child and saying that thing, he can get that you are just saying you have butterflies in your stomach, but she or he doesn't get what you mean, that you are what? In hoity-toity, or in vernacular language, you are kinikilig. So, that's it. That's how transformational. And with that, with the use of that, of course, the children now able to be so very intuitive, ask something about it, and of course, when he develop physically, of course, she or he also develop cognitively. Okay? As we develop our physical and mental, of course, we also develop our vocabularies through the use of what? Intuitive questions with the environment. So that's it, how transformationalist works. So I hope you understand what is transformationalist are. So thank you for listening and God bless us everyone.